Hello, welcome everyone. I will try and keep this as short as possible. The first thing we're going to do is look at this pipeline and then see how it works. And then we're going to give you the opportunity in the second episode to actually make this in your own Azure subscription. And you can have the database, like you can see here. And you can have this. Well, this is the source database, the target database, and the data factory. So it's pretty cool. Okay. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is the concept of the high watermark. So you might have got to this video by reading my blog, and then you click the link. So the blog explains this, and also the GitHub repository where this is all stored is available to you guys as well. So if you go to GitHub and you look at my GitHub, go on to this, you'll see I've got this one called ADF and SQL Incremental Load. Now, in here, the data factory is here. You'll see the pipelines themselves. So if you go into this one here, look at the pipeline. This is the pipeline that exists there, right? And it's the same pipeline here. Now, the concept of high watermark is that you'd have this metadata table in your target system that has a record of all the. Let me show you. So if I go like this, right? So if I say, okay, the load info watermark is in my destination table, sometimes called the sync table or your target table. And in there, I've got a record of customer table and the project table. And the last time that they were updated was, okay, well, you can see the dates there, right? So that's the date of the load. That's when they were last updated. Now, what the idea is that any rows of data that are generated that are newer than that date, then let's bring them into the customer table, right? So if we look at, let's say, example, the customer table that's actually on the target, it's got two entries. The first entry is Joe, and the second entry is Carl. These are just made up names. They shouldn't relate to anybody in the real world. And then the project table is the same, right? So let's just do this. Project table. And the idea is that I've made a pipeline that you can run two tables at the same time because the same concept. So it's almost metadata driven, a little bit metadata driven. And I'll show you how that works, right? So you go to here and you go, okay, now it does it for each. And the reason it does it for each is because it'll do it for both the tables. It'll go around this loop and it's got a table list here. And you'll see, okay, what is the table list? So if I go here, I made an array, type an array called table list. Call it whatever you want. It doesn't need to be table list. And let's have a look at what this looks like. If we just go to Notepad, and you see Notepad, get rid of that. You'll see that this is what the array looks like. Now the array has two elements, okay? This is the first element. I'll just break it down so you can see it properly. So the array starts with the square brackets, and then the first element is this one highlighted in blue, and the second element is this one here. Now, the elements themselves contain items, I suppose, and those items are key value. So key is the table name, the value is that name. The key is the watermark column, the value is last modified date. Key value, okay? Now, that's the array that you can use. Now, if you go back to the data factory, it's going to loop twice because why? There were two elements in the array. So the first time it loops, it's going to go, okay, now I've got the first element of that array, and that is customer table. So it's going to say load the information for the customer table from the high watermark. Now remember that if we look at our target, that's going to look like, the query will look like this, where source info, let me just run that again, so I can't remember the name of the table or column, is source info equals customer table, right? So that first lookup is doing this query, and it's bringing back row number, the date of the load, target info. So these are probably like, you don't even need them. It's just the date of load is what it needs. So it gives you the date. Well, it gives you all those columns, but the date's what we're interested in. The next one does a query to the source table, and it says, give me the maximum value from there. So if we take this query and we go to the source database, and then we sort of punch that in there, and then we just replace this with customer table, and then we from customer table. Sorry, that wasn't right. Customer table, and then this is not the table name, but the column name. Last, is it last modified? Last modify time. You can see it there. Let's just run this quickly. Oh, so that is 2024 0101 9:42 in the morning. So back to our target. That's the same date, right? So if we wanted no data will be updated if we ran this same pipeline now because there's no new data. But if we put some new data in, let's put on some new data. So for customer, and the same concept for projects. I don't need to show you that, right? So projects, because I know that it'll be the same. There's nothing new to update. We'll say, project 3, the B, whatever. And then let's just give it like the next day. Okay, so it'll be the 3rd at 11:02 a.m. Let's just make this one the 3rd of January at, I don't know, 12:42. We'll make it 13:40. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so we've got two entries here. Let's just get them out. And let's insert that into our database, the source. Now there's two. So just think of it like there's new data coming into this database. Let's have a quick look at it, run that. So this is now, I didn't change his name. Carl, whatever. But let's just update his name. So we'll update customer table set name equals, I don't know, Lily pickle or something, I don't know, where person ID equals 3. Okay, so we're going to change that one just so it's unique. Update that, and then let's run that again. There you go. Okay, that's better. So now we've got Lily Pickle there, and then our project table, we've got 3. So we've got that. Now this is the source. Now, but if we go look at the target, we won't see those entries. We don't have person number 3, and we don't have the 3rd project here. They're not there yet. Okay, so what we'll do then is we run this pipeline. So if I go trigger now, and just click OK, and within less than a minute, we're going to have those 2 entries in there. And what we could try is also add more than 1 row of data and see if it works. Although if it doesn't work, then I'm kind of screwed. Anyway, so this pipeline is going to then, while that's going, we just show you that it's going to copy the data from the source, but only going to get the latest rows of data using this little where clause here. And it says, give me the latest rows that are the rows where they're newer than the information that you have stored on the watermark table, which is the metadata table inside your target database. Only give me the rows from the source that are new. That's what it's doing. That's what that little query is doing. And then it syncs it to the staging table, like staging.customer underscore table. And so it lands there, and then we use a SPROC, store procedure, which I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. The store procedure looks like this, where it says, okay, build me a temporary table, insert all the data from customer staging table, and then do a merge statement. The merge statement is pretty cool. So you can either pause the video and copy this, but it's basically merged into the customer table as the target using the temporary table and match on this person ID. If it matches, then update. If it doesn't match, then insert. Okay. So let's go back to our, where are we there? Okay. So let's go back at our target now and see if it's been updated yet. Yeah, there you go. There's Lily Pickle, and there is project number 3. So our pipeline's working. Brilliant. And then we just update the high watermark, and we're going to look at our high watermark now. If you remember from the beginning of this episode, I looked at the watermark table. Let's just select everything from there. And then you can see the 3rd of January at 1:42 in the afternoon and 11 in the morning. And that's it. So that's how it works. It's pretty simple. So let's just say you did an update to Lily Pickle, and you spelled it differently, like with an IE, like that, right? But obviously, if you were in a proper database, then proper database, then your last modified date would change as well, because that's the whole point of having the last modified time. So Lily changed the name from an LLIY to an LILIE, and she did that on the 24/01/04. Maybe she did that 12/32, like that. Okay. Set name. I think I'm going to put a comma there. Can't remember. Person. There we go. So there's a row of data. So a customer table. Run that. So Lily's there, but the date here is newer than any date in the watermark table in the target table. So the 4th of the 1st, right? So if I run this again, obviously this hasn't changed. So this is your target database. Look, it's still the 3rd there. Okay, so now if I run this again, it'll do the merge statement where it matches on the person ID, and then it's going to do an update instead of an insert. Trigger that now. And then it's running. That's basically it. If you understand the looping array, so it's going to do both customer table and project table, and you can add as many tables as you want, and you can use this same loop for all your tables. So it's pretty cool if you're using the watermark theory or the watermark feature to update your rows of tables. It's a very it's a rudimental, kind of like a crude way of doing incremental loading, because a better way might be doing a hash on the non-primary key columns, and then you can do like a hash value, then you can compare the hash value in your target to the hash value in your source, and that's one way of doing it. And then there's also like now built-in ways from Data Factory, and they're using this change data capture. It is in preview though, so I've tried it the other day, and it wasn't working for me. So yeah, at the moment it's in preview. And then there's also other ways to do it. I think there's actually ways to do it in a copy activity inside of these activities here. So I can't remember exactly where it is, but let's have a quick look. Sync. There you go. Upsert. See, you got the upsert behavior here. So basically, Data Factory, what the product guys are doing is they building features in that sort of do away with what I've just shown you, basically, to make your life easier. But this is like traditional ways of doing your incremental updates to your table. So let's run that again. Customer table. Let's see if Lily's name's changed. Run that. There you go. All done. And that's the date one. So pretty impressive, right? Let's just do one more thing, and then second episode, I'll show you how to run this in DevOps to get your own Data Factory and SQL Server and everything, just like I've got, and hopefully it works for you, and then you can have a play with this yourself and sort of learn how to do this. Okay, so let's go. We'll put a 4th person in here. I call him Jamie Dudar. Okay, and then we'll give him a date of the 5th or something like that. Okay, and just make it like 15, I don't know, 22 in the afternoon. And then let's go with a new project 5 of 4 in the floor, whatever. Make it like, it's probably gonna have to be newer than that, definitely. Let's keep it on the 5th as well. And what I want to do is actually let's do 2 rows there. And so we'll have project 5 as well. Let's do this. So technically, if I've written this correctly, it should do both of these entries. Mandy Mullah, and then she can be 16 and project 5 in the hive. Project 5 in the hive. And we'll make that like 14. So basically, we've got some new data. It's coming to our tables. Let's insert those, run, and done. Run and done. So customer, let's run that quickly. There we go. And in our target, we're not going to have those yet. Let's run this trigger now. Well, okay. So within hopefully less than a minute, let's see how long the last one took. 1 minute 32 seconds. Okay. What did it? Yeah. So sometimes it just has to spin up. Sometimes it's a minute 13. Sometimes it's 41 seconds. It's a bit right. Before we end this one off, then what is left to tell you? We've got the staging tables just one more time, so that everything lands in the staging tables first. So if we run the staging table now, I'll probably see the data. Not yet. He says project. There you go. Project 4 and 5 is in, and 4 and 5 is there. That's awesome. So those are the latest rows. Those are only the 2 latest rows coming in. And then let's see if these come in. Nice. There they are. 2 rows come in for project table. Nice. And 2 rows come in for project 4 and 5. So we've done it. Our pipeline is working brilliantly. So there you go. That's the incremental load for the high watermark. It's a very basic feature. It's quite easy to implement if you know what you're doing, but you can always just use this pipeline, and there you go. So you've got your incremental loading from your source to your target. Very nice feature. So stay tuned for episode 2. I'll show you how to do this in DevOps and how you can have your own data factory, your own SQL tables, your own SQL server. And the SQL server is cheap. This one is like, if you look at the costs, I think it's only £5 a month or something, but you don't actually keep it. You don't have to keep it. You keep it if you want, but if it's just for educational purposes, use it for a day and tear it down. So there you go, like £5 a month. It'll cost you pennies to run this in DevOps, spin it up, use it for the day, and tear it back down again. Shouldn't cost you much at all. Data pipeline copy activities are quite cheap. Mapping data flows, that's a different story. They're very expensive. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Clint Grove. I wish you the best on your ETL journey.